good evening, everybody. Welcome to TrainWorldTV. And today we have another special episode, this time featuring Lee English, CEO of Bowser Trains, and also our special regular guest now, Tony Cook of Model Railroad News. How you doing, Tony?
I feel like I'm Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson.
You just keep on coming back. That's it. We got you. And Lee English, how you doing, Lee?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And Lee English of Bowser Trains is no newcomer to the industry. They have been a part of the model train industry forever. A great true family business, Lee, correct?
Yeah. Actually, after World War II, when my dad got out of the Army, he started a store in Sunbury, PA.
Huh.
And then he actually worked his real engineering job. And I don't know why in 1961 he decided to buy Bowser, which only made 2 steam locomotives at the time.
Wow.
He had 4 kids. I still to this day I don't understand it.
That's great. And I guess you were also saying in this before we went live here that you actually started working into the family business straight from the get-go, and they put you to work at a young age back then.
Well, we started. Bowser was purchased in 1961. I was 8. And I have 3 brothers and sisters, and we were the labor of the company. My sisters are older, and they were running the drill presses when they were in high school, and I started out doing a whole lot of packaging and cleaning flash off of castings, and I've took a little time off to be in high school and college, and my brother and I came back to the company in 1975.
Wow.
And we've switched roles a little bit. They thought he was the one that liked manufacturing. It turned out he was the one that liked the office, and I liked the manufacturing. So I now have what's left of our factory is still here. We do injection molding. About 2/3 of the parts in the new RS3 and the other Bowser diesel locomotives are actually made here in Pennsylvania. And then I ship them over to China, and the factory does all the electronics, assembly, painting, lettering. I'm doing what I can. I run 2 beautiful injection molding machines, all computerized control, the latest, greatest machines. And I'll tell you that I enjoy that as much as anything. 3D design, injection molding, and also I've done a little mold making, but I'm not very good at it. So I finally found a guy just 30 miles away that he's made all the Bowser cars, the Stuart Century, the RS3. He's made cars for Weaver, Delaware Valley Car Company. He's just done an awful lot. Now he's gotten older and his business changed. So from here out, it becomes Chinese.
Wow.
So, but everybody looks at what's happening today, and I think Tony can probably agree with this. 3D design has driven this industry into an area that it could never have seen before.
Oh, easily, yeah.
To actually be able to take the whole assembly and make every piece in the assembly an individual drawing, assemble it. You can add motion, you can add all kinds of lighting effects. You can do all that kind of stuff. So it has allowed me to actually do the RS3. People ask me, why don't you make it undecorated? Well, we're advertising, I think it's up to 20 I think we're at 22 or 23 road names. We have 27 different bodies. We have actually there's 25 different build versions. Now, build version could be as simple as move the horn, put a different horn on, different louvers, different end marker lights, number boards. I'd give you a package with all those bodies, the 8 underframes, the 6 cabs, the 300 and some individual detail parts. Might cost you what, $400 or $500?
Wow.
That'd probably be cheap, actually, with all the parts and everything. Yeah, it's again, we hear that, Lee, that I want an undeck. It's like, but do you real? There's not just a generic like, well, what would you make for the undeck? That there's how many different things. So
we tried it. We tried undecorateds on the Alco C430, and there's only 2 different build versions. There was kind of the Reading style and the as-built. So we did the as-built, which was the one most railroads used, and we only made 50 units. I scrapped 30 of them into just repair parts and stuff to play with.
Wow.
That's a beautiful Alco. Your 430, that's one of my favorite locomotives you did. I've got, I think, Green Bay and Western, the demonstrator. I bought both the Rock Island What If numbers. I have a stack of those 430s. They're nice pieces.
Well, go ahead.
And Lee, so we talked about your father started into the business, and he kind of roped you in and used you and your family as cheap labor, and started working out. Now, did you always have a passion for trains, or you got it? I'm assuming obviously from your father, and you just kind of found it as a passion. And when you went to college, did you take anything to build on your success that you took this company into?
Well, college was spent in a semi-haze.
Okay.
But I was a business major,
Okay, good.
particularly accounting. And it was a good foundation for what my fascination isn't necessarily model trains. It's the making of the model train.
Interesting.
I like the 3D design work.
Right.
I do a lot of that for even with the company I have in China. We will pass things back and forth. Sometimes I have a better idea. Sometimes they have better idea. Now, the last thing I designed was the RS3. That I did from wheels to antennas.
Wow.
But I'm also don't think I'm good enough anymore. So I'm farming off more and more of that to the builder in China, who is probably one of the best communicating people I've had over there. He's just very, very good.
Yeah, I will say, Lee, I think your RS3 is probably your best engine, yet. It's so amazing. Here, let me get you up on the big screen. But if you could show that off one more time. The quality and detail on these units are unbelievable. And they came in and went out so fast. It's amazing. And I'm talking about tons of units. It was really a well anticipated and a beautiful and well received engine. People are still coming to the store and say, "Oh, that RS3 is amazing," and it's really beautiful. And the size, it just looks like a real train. It's just unbelievable.
Well, but we did some interesting things on there that are very little notice until you really start to look. Things like the individual door handles. Actually, we've made an improvement on them just last week. I made them out of a new material. I found a material for my MU hoses and the door handles that is paintable, gluable, and bendable.
Wow.
and it actually makes them a little sturdier, and if they don't snap off. The I can't take a lot of credit for the decoration. I have an excellent guy in house named Scott, and my main research guy named Rich. I'm sorry. And between the two of them, they can really put together some nice artwork. And we feel it's as good as pretty much anybody in the industry.
Yeah.
Now the factory is doing a great job of painting. It's not too heavy. It covers, but it's not too heavy. Now that is one of the nicest engines of all. That has those grab irons going along the top hood, and has all the. It's just one of those things where you model railroaders model from the roof down. Real railroading's done from the wheels up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why, Tony, you know how hard it is to find a roof shot.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I get requests on those a lot. Do you have a picture of it? It's like, look at that. And those, as you say, you've got that signature Milwaukee, the 470, that separate little bracket with the road number that they would weld on, the angled number boards on the ends, the white marker lights.
Tony's getting excited.
Those are so nice. And Lee, for folks, I when these were announced, I had people asking, is this the RS3s? To back up a bit, our run of big RS3s in HO all hit in the early 80s, with one made by Cato for Atlas, Roundhouse made one, and then was there a flat stock originally by Stewart? But that was a different phase. What you're working on is a later phase. I assume there's nothing here short of maybe the chassis being reused from past RS3 projects.
Well, we're going to be able to reuse much of the body tooling because of what I designed. Each side of the locomotive is actually 2 or 3 pieces. So all I have to do is replace the middle long hood, and I have a different phase. Now, the short hood and the long hood are 2 different pieces of the mold. So I can just substitute in, and then I can start getting things like this, which that's the D&H hammerhead.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the next thing up
again.
The next thing up is this. This is this one is the Lehigh Valley. And of course, the Lehigh Valley and the Pennsylvania were almost exactly the same thing. And we are just finishing today. We did the first test shot of the phase 2, which also translates into the Western Maryland hammerheads.
Wow.
So we're pushing it. It's kind of an everything RS3, and we're also going to be branching into some Canadians. That's Canadian. That's the CP chop nose.
Right.
And of course, we have just regular stuff. Now, these are 3D printed just for my own use. These are not production. They're not how we will make the final model. We'll do that with hard tooling. We like to have these pieces we can actually handle, so we can get somewhere with the when you go to a show, people love to pick them up and look, and they get a little wet from drool sometimes. And so that's really where we are, and this is all driven by 3D design. And 3D printing is going to be it is a boom right now to the industry. Some of the stuff being made that you see advertised, that one of a kind model, Tony, that every railroad had, that'll never be produced. And it could be a weight car, could be signals, could be a caboose that they chopped. Everything was special. But as far as production for sales, the RS3 is the best-selling locomotive I ever made.
Oh, it's such
Yeah.
a great prototype. I mean, what, 1950 to like 56? There's 1,500 of them, and the way the war production board set up, letting EMD do F units, Alco got to make switchers, and boy, it turned the RS2 and especially 3 into kings of first generation diesel switchers. So that it's a fantastic prototype, and you got so many different variations as you've been showing us here this afternoon to work with.
Yeah, and Lee, I had to scramble all over from all the distributors to grab whatever I can for these RS3 units. Everybody was selling out so quickly, and they just flew off the shelves. And you, another thing I must say is we get so little returns on your product because it's so well made. And I really think you do a great job manufacturing your product, and it really speaks volumes for what goes out versus what comes back. So you do a really great job.
I mean,
Well,
the
thank you.
look and finish and the parts that you do. Well, I said that, I think, Lee, when I shot, was it about a year ago? You had some SD40-2s that I did photography on, and I said these are some of the best looking just for the assembly. They were late, like those leaser ones that were ex-Canadian prototype, but now in like Helm leasing or something, and you had all kinds of details on them, and they
Mhm.
were so well done. I mean, when a model's put together right, it's a thing of beauty just to look at and appreciate. And I remember having those laid out, thinking, boy, these are sharply done models, and the RS3s are equally as pretty.
Well, we're pushing ahead with a lot of plans. I hope the world doesn't go on fire again, but right now, the only big problem everyone in the industry, all the manufacturers are having, is the transportation from the builders to us. Um, the ships I can get, I call them multi-port ships, and every time they call in a port, there's several days of delay. The old 35 days, I have one ship that's out almost 80 days now. That's MC, no, C630M locomotives. Um, right now, it just left Norfolk Harbor going to New York. The only trouble is it's going to take 16 days to get to New York from Norfolk
Oh,
Harbor.
Wow.
But I have another ship that just left Panama that's going to beat it to New York.
wow.
I actually on
Ken, just excuse me, Ken, just for your own knowledge, the last batch of RS3s is due in New York in 4 days.
Well, that's great to hear. And it's funny, living on Long Island, water's all around us, and you could actually see the shipping containers just waiting off Long Island. And they're not moving, they're just waiting off of Long Island, and things are still very slow coming in. And they just sit there until they're ready to be called in. It's amazing.
Well, that and the price of a container, it's still hovering. I believe I haven't seen a spot price for the last couple of weeks. Last one I saw was $19,000 for a 20-foot
Wow.
container. That was
Wow.
$3,500 before the pandemic.
I was going to say they're up multiple times. They were well under $5,000, and now I hear 20 to 30,000. And
Wow.
when you think about how that factors into cost, that's astronomical. So wow.
You can also get, even though you contract for a container, you can get bumped. If someone like a Costco or Walmart or somebody needs containers,
Wow.
it's a bidding war, and they'll buy them all up.
That's unbelievable. And Lee, one thing about your whole family, your company, you've always kept your products at a reasonable price point, and your rolling stock, it's very well made. It's great rolling stock, and they're reasonable prices. I feel like it's just very underrated, and if you guys out there take a chance, you'll definitely fall in love. You're making some great stuff on the rolling stock side as well.
Well, my goal on rolling stock is not to be the $50 boxcar. I want cars that people can use. I want them to roll great. I want them to be really pretty with the decorations. I don't subscribe to turn the car over and see every brake line, every detail part that you have to run upside down. That's me, and that's the way we've made our cars.
Right.
A little simple, nicely detailed, and there's two levels of our cars. There's the Stewart original cars that are a little heavier detail, and then there's the Bowser cars. The Bowser cars are much sharper, everything about them. And the sales of them are very, very good. And a lot of that has to do with my two guys, Scott and Rich, who picked some road names that we can put out that people just seem to love.
And we've talked on that before, like the blue coal hoppers we talked not too long ago about.
Yeah.
And I was looking the other day through some, because I always have a box of something that hasn't made it into my collection yet. And I think there were 3 or 4 of those little 40-foot boxcars, like an Illinois Central orange. That's one. And when you talk about that, don't make the $50 boxcar. Here's the thing, Ken. I end up buying 3 of his $25 boxcars as opposed to one $50 boxcar, because I'll start going through and stacking the stuff up. And it's a great deal you get at. But yeah, the Bowser cars, that's a soft spot for me when I'm at a hobby shop of, oh, that's cool. And like that latest group of boxcars, I think you have a blue coal 40-foot I'm looking for, and that green Lindy boxcar is out now too. So
yeah,
they're always fun. Yeah, the decoration, boy, especially a collector like me, those get me all the time. There's always something that I gotta have.
Well, we're going to continue to do that with the boxcars. It may not be the proper car, but it sure does look good.
Yes.
It's got the right color paint. It's got the right kind of graphics. And I don't know, right now, color sells.
Yes.
I think, Ken, you might agree. Color sells.
Yes.
A brown Pennsylvania boxcar is a little boring. I'm sorry. I know we're big on Pennsylvania, but after making tens of thousands of Pennsy Circle Keystone and Shadow Keystone cars, how many more do you want? Like the Lindy car or some of the 2-bay covered hopper cars.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, that little.
By the way, Ken, the next ship that's just now leaving China has the first batch of Ballast cars.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And
so
here are
we'll
some
be
of those
Ballast cars in there.
Yeah, like Lee was saying, lots of color. The Delaware and Hudson actually did very well. All these different colors, paint scheme, and great affordable prices. Nothing that's going to break the bank. And especially now as things get a little tighter out there, you need those affordable lines. And these are beautiful hoppers.
The Ballast car that you're talking about, Lee, it's that 2-bay that you redid the roof, so it's got the opening. There's one there with the red ends. Yeah. Bring that one up, Ken, so we can see it. This is such a neat car. I had more people saying, "Man, I used to cut those up with hacksaws." He said, "Now Bowser's done it." I said, "And it looks great. You don't have to do anything."
And look
it's been a very successful car for us to make, and it's typical, not prototypical.
Mm-hmm.
And the railroads pretty much chopped up every covered hopper car they could find to make a custom Ballast car.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing a bunch more. They go very well. They're pretty. The hoppers, actually, I was in Prince George, British Columbia, and there happened to be a little 55-ton, looked like a standard USRA hopper with those doors on it. So I crawled underneath and got all the measurements and brought it back to the U.S.
Wow.
The next one I just found is a Pennsylvania H21L, which is a Pennsylvania Ballast car. where they cut off the 4 bays and put in 2 drop doors. It's up in New England, and I just haven't gotten there. So, but I have a lot of plans, but I'm not trying to be a huge company anymore. As much as I'd like to slow down, I keep wanting to do some. I like these new projects are actually fun for me.
That's great.
Ballast cars.
If you keep on making them, you're never going to retire, Lee.
Go up a little bit, Ken, to the blue one.
Yeah,
that's a car that's actually, we're selling one that's repainted in. It's up in New England, and the short line has a really beat up version. They're going to repaint, and we're going to donate a bunch of money from all the cars we sell to them to try to get the car back to a historical lettering.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So a little piece of every car is going to go to them.
That's nice. That's cool. That's a very neat thing. Now, the RS3s we're talking about today, you say you've got a shipment coming in, but this announcement with, when I saw this, I asked Ken, I said, hey, can we get Lee to come on, talk about these RS3s because they're such neat products. And I saw that exclusive. You're doing a Long Island that I think has a prototypical look, but then you're doing a what if blue and yellow with and it has a little Dashing Dan commuter logo on the side or on the short hood that Ken has it as a Train World exclusive. And that's in the new model road news that just hit. If you're looking for information on it, go to trainworld.com and we can look that up too. And look at that. I took one look at that, ordered it, immediately emailed Ken saying, we got to get Lee on. I just ordered this RS3. Let's talk to him about these. This is a really cool run and they need more attention. But that is so cool. Can you tell us about, I mean, first, for those that don't know, Long Island was a commuter road and they did run these RS3 switchers for commuter stuff, right, Lee?
You'll have to ask Ken on this, on his blue one. The other ones, he probably knows a lot more about the Long Island. We're just making it to pictures. And just a really nice scheme.
Yeah. So Lee and Bowser, they came out with this beautiful RS3, and it's going to be a home run. And I when I saw it, I told Lee I ordered heavy because especially in our neck of the woods, people are going to come in all over and come in and buy these units. So it really beautiful paint scheme. You got the Dashing Dan. Just really nice, DCC ready, and also the DCC in sound. And one thing which is great about Bowser, they do use ESU sound decoders, which a ton of people love. It seems like they're becoming the preferred choice for model railroaders out there. So really neat. And then I don't know if I could get to it, but we do have the exclusive that we actually did this in O scale first, and it was a huge success. So I said, Lee, is there any way we could do this in HO? And he said yes. So we teamed up together, and we're going to be doing this fantasy paint scheme. But the colors for the blue and yellow, it's typical Long Island, and it just looks so neat. So so for you Long Island guys out there, you have tons of choices, and we carry them all. We stock them all. With Bowser trains, I place the order ahead of time to stock. I just don't take your order. I stock it, so it's in on the shelves. But these units will sell quickly because the first batch of RS3s, they just flew out of there. And especially the Pennsylvania units. Oh, my God, with the antennas. People went crazy. And Lee, I know you're getting tired of Pennsylvania, but keep on doing those.
Well, the next announcement, which should be in the next couple of weeks, we'll have Pennsylvania hammerheads, Lehigh Valley hammerhead.
Wow.
The Pennsylvania will have train phone and non-train phone. So you'll have something to announce here in a couple of weeks. The other stuff, the one thing we haven't talked about is the SD30C Eco. That is in final stages of pre-production. All the artwork was finally approved this morning, and they expect to have running samples decorated for me in probably 2 weeks.
Wow.
And once we get that far, then production is very imminent. And along with that, we're going to get the M630 Century Loco final decorated samples. So followed by an old Baldwin AS project, AS 616s. Now they're not up there. They're the basic same model, just with an updated chassis, electronics, and of course, fantastic decoration. Of course, now that I own the CalScale brand, I can make all kinds of super detail parts. But we'll also have some PCC trolley cars coming shortly after that. We had to reject the windows. We had a couple windows that just didn't fill the window well. And so actually they stuck out from the body, and I had to reject them. So we actually went to a new mold maker, and he's making all new window inserts for the PCC.
And Lee,
yep.
This is a home run here. I can't, every time I check my back orders, I got to double check on this, because I'm like, there's got to be something wrong. Everybody wants it, and it's beautiful. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's a really neat little trolley car, and it's really geared towards everyone's layout. It's not just for the trolley fanatic. It's the guy who wants to run something in the city or the background, or just with this one, it's bicentennial.
Right.
Love bicentennials. Not only do they sell well, I love the look of them.
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
And
you mentioned on the SD30 project that's coming out, is it still available for pre-order?
Yes, it is.
Sample soon. Okay.
Our pre-orders are giving me a number to work towards. Then I add what I call my cushion, and then we take more pre-orders, because people are, this is a hobby. They're not into it like we are every day. So train guys might leave for 2 or 3 months. Real life gets in the way, and so we can take more orders. Ken avails himself of that probably with his distributors, and goes and orders again from them later on. And but yes, you can. We will take pre-orders right up until the day they arrive, if there's any left.
And this, of course, if people don't know, I know we talked about this when you announced it, because I had somebody ask, and now I can't remember the other road name, but they are different. This is an SD40-2 rebuild that, this is the late RS3. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. That's a picture I don't have.
Well, I will email it to you, and you will have it. So
that is a beautiful picture.
Were we not supposed to show that, Tony?
Well, we'll look at it here in a second.
Oh, no, perfect.
I wanted to look at that SD30 again, because I wanted to ask Lee. I had people ask me, first of all, what is it? Because you hear SD30 and you're like, EMD never made one. It's like, well, no, it's not. It's SD30C Eco. This was an SD40-2 rebuilt, and this is Canadian Pacific only. And some other road I know has something that looks similar to this. And when I asked you, you said it is, but it's not the same, because I had people saying, why is he not also doing this road name? And that's how our conversation hit that day. And I forget now what the other road is that has something that looks a little like this.
Well, I think it's the Norfolk Southern.
That's right, yeah.
But the Norfolk Southern is an American trucks, American body. It is a lot of different change of tooling.
Right.
This is a Canadian SD40-2. They took the body off, cut it from behind the cab and removed it, cut it where the rear flaring is on the rear. They cut, all they saved was the doors in the middle.
Wow.
And then they built the new cab has all the latest safety and crashability and all that. But they kept the trucks and put in an all new power supply, all new, I think it goes up to tier 3. Now, I don't believe it gets to tier 4, but I'm not sure. I actually, this kind of came about in an odd way. I ran into the CP historian, the actual CP historian, and he sent me all these drawings on this engine and said that would be really neat. And I turned around and I wanted to learn my new factory, wanted to learn their process, and this was a short development because we have the chassis. So it's really coming about in relative hurry for a new engine. I don't know whether people realize it's a 2-year cycle to make a new locomotive, pretty much at the minimum.
Easily, yeah.
Especially if you would think about the time it takes to start the research, finish the research, develop the model, and then go to tooling after you get all the changes to how you do things. So anyway, this is going to come out. We're going to have painted samples soon on this.
It is really going to be
out long before the estimated delivery. I don't want to do another RS3 or F unit.
It is something definitely different, yeah. For collectors, it's one to look for, yeah. On the, if we got a second, Ken, yeah, the pictures I had, I wanted to, this, for those spotting and looking at these, you'll see most of the RS3s in this new release, and I think what's coming up, say, late production. And in general, I think, and Lee, that's correct, this is early, right? The louvers all over the long hood around the Rock Island name. This would be an earlier look production. And man, look at those Novas sitting over there on that auto rack. That's 1967 at Blue Island, Illinois, from Kevin Udaley's collection. And then this is a late production RS3. And again, the changes being around Chesapeake and Ohio, those long vertical like screen doors is kind of the spotting feature, right? For what you're doing, which is maybe phase 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, when I really appreciate it. My biggest problem is getting pictures for everything. We do not publish pictures. They are strictly for our usage to develop the artwork. So if people have the idea that they would like to see a model of an RS3, a Century, whatever, send me a picture. I'd love to have pictures. If no one volunteers that kind of stuff, it's really hard to find.
No, that's I hear that from a lot of folks. And this I think you did in a prior run, and when you were talking about the hammerhead units, is that a steam? Now this is not, because this is a regular
steam generator equipped.
But that's got a steam generator, right?
Yep.
But now, what were the hammerheads? Why? I thought they were taller. They had a steam generator in them as well. Okay. And then that extra step back there by the radiator, I forget what that is. Is that some heater box or something? This back here?
The train control box.
Oh, okay.
In front of the cab?
No, back here on the long hood underneath the radiator, there's like a step up and over, almost like
that is a lighting control box. I got that from Tommy Thompson, who's the modeling chairman for the Boston and Maine. Fantastic person.
These are such great models, and like I said, the RS3 was so popular. This Chesapeake and Ohio scheme, I think, is in the current reservations, isn't it? This exact scheme, even. In fact, I think that number is too, the 5600.
I think it is. I hope Ken's taking a lot of back orders on them.
Yes, anything RS3 related, and is doing very well. I'm trying to look up the exact number on that one, but
I do not know it offhand.
But beautiful units, and all these different paint schemes are very, very interesting. It's just the RS3 is a nice looking engine.
Yeah. Well, we're going to push on with all kinds of versions. We're going to be doing phase ones, phase 1As, Bs, a lot of specialty, like the one that might be very popular for Train World will be the Erie Lackawanna. They had their own big cutout louvers.
Hmm.
Now, we think we've got all the information we need for them now. It's just a matter of doing some drawing, and of course, we'll test 3D print aside just so the guys here and my own store has a lot of traffic for Erie Lackawanna guys, and they'll look at it and see whether it just feels right. And it'll be in the classic gray, and I think you'll do really well with it.
Without a doubt. And Lee, Rahel actually had a question. Have you ever thought to make a RSD5, which is actually the same body as the RS3? Is that possible?
Well, it's a very, very similar body.
Hmm.
As far as I can tell, it's the exact same length body, and it uses it doesn't use DeFasco trucks that I know of. It uses I've got the truck drawings already.
Okay.
I've already done some fitting on a chassis. Yes, I would like to get there.
Wow.
But I have.
Look at that, kid. We always get this. Every time we get these guys on, I always get emails the next day. Oh my gosh, did they?
Right now, I have.
The cat always comes out of the bag.
On my desk here, I have 4 different phase 1 versions.
Wow.
I have the phase 2 that we're just finishing up. We have 2 different hammerheads. We have 6 Canadians, and that's only 2 it's 4 versions of phase 1, and there's probably 15 more. Wow. In order to make I come up with somewhere around 60 to 70 more road names just in the US and Canada. So I'm going to be pretty old by then.
You're going to be running trains till you're 90.
My beard will get longer.
That's it. And Robert had a great kind comment of Bowser. I'm a longtime buyer of Bowser products. You do a great job on all your products. I'm very partial to my Alco Locos. Keep them coming as I buy many of them. They are awesome.
Well, we're pushing ahead with them. We have the M630s coming. In the next production is M630s of locomotives, and then we will. We're also going to do some more M636s and M630s and C630s and C628s. It'll be just a big family group. They basically use the same chassis with different trucks. Electronics is very similar, and so we're gonna push on. And I've got a couple more Canadian engines we're drawing. I've got I know people keep asking me about this mystifying C415.
And I haven't brought it up. We've been on almost an hour. I know I always ask about that, but I've been so good. I've not mentioned, but since you did bring it up, how about that?
I would love to do it.
Okay.
I would love to do it. And if I do it, it'll probably be under the English's Model Railroad brand. Like the Eco, it just doesn't have the sales appeal. What are there? 5 road names besides a couple loggers?
Yeah, basically. SP&S and like
Burlington, Northern,
Burlington, Northern,
Rock,
Warehouser, Alice Western. I mean, yeah, for big roads, Rock Island, SP&S to be in. Did anybody east? I remember when we first talked about this, you're like, well, who cares? There's nobody east that bought it. I'm like, oh, what about all of us folks here west of the Mississippi?
So, yes, I'd like to do it. There's just a whole lot of stuff I would like to do. It just takes a long time to develop everything. And, people ask me, why do you do pre-orders? Why don't you just make it and then release it? For $200,000+ for a new locomotive, that's quite a gamble.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hate to tell you how much the RS3 has cost me. I don't even really want to. I have purposely not tallied it up.
Wow.
Because it was tooled in the U.S.
Wow.
And while he's a great tool maker, tool makers in the U.S. get paid very, very well. Very well. And it's just not something I'm going to add up. We'll just keep pushing forward. I've already spent the money, so why bother adding it up now? Even though the accountant has a full running total.
Somebody will ask you about it at some point. Lee, did you know how much this cost us?
I haven't been able to, since it's not finished, I haven't been able to use any of the depreciation yet. So this is the first year it's finished, and I'll be able to actually start using the depreciation.
Can we see those? We didn't get a really good look at the 3D printed shells that you had. Can you bring Lee back up on the main, and can we see those that he's working on again? And these are not
a D&H chop nose.
Okay.
This is a classic bicentennial. D&H had there's several paint schemes. Very classic. You can tell by the box on top, and of course the chop nose. I showed the hammerhead. That'll be coming. Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania with and without train phones. Canadian. This is ONR, and the differences are minor, so it's hard to show here. See on my bottom, I put what they are. The CP, dynamic, winterization hatch. We'll have the special lighting packages. Here's a phase 1 Reading.
Oh, can you hold that up? Yeah, there we go.
I'm sorry. Phase 1 Reading. You can see the louvers.
And now this will be
the classic. What you have is 3 groups over 3, or 2 groups over 3, or 3 over 3, or 2 over 2.5, or then you have the people who plated them out and did their own. You're going to have an awful lot to sell, Ken.
That's
here's
okay.
The D&H. Now the D&H is also different because the louver package is different. This is as close to a standard as I see. It has 3 over 3 near the cab, and 3 over 3 and 3 over 3. Oh, 3 over 3.5. That's the way I classify them, because what phase it is, I'm not sure they paid any attention to it. They just did what they did. And it's like, Ken, you sold out of D&H 1508, and it was a phase 3. It was actually built as a phase 3, but when they went into the shops to do some work, they moved one door towards the cab, one position. And that's all the pictures.
Interesting. Okay.
All the pictures are because they show the one door too far towards the cab. It's supposed to be one door forward. But all the pictures show that engine with the door in the wrong place. So that's what we had to make.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Now, is that 100% accurate? I got it from a D&H railroader who said he knew the people in the shops, and that's all I could go by. Of course, that's like saying, what color is Pennsylvania engine color? Brunswick green.
Yeah.
Can anybody tell me?
I get that argument a couple times a year in emails. Isn't it just black? It's like, well, but sometimes in pictures I can see that it looks dark green. I said it depends if the slide is a dupe or if it's a rainy day or sunny day or.
Long ago, my dad knew a guy from the Altoona shops in the paint shop, and he said they took a barrel of black and threw in that much green pigment.
Wow. It's
that?
funny, Lee, because we actually did the Long Island RS3 in O scale, and we had black and Brunswick green, and I received so many emails from people on both sides saying that they're 100% correct. It's black, and 100% it's Brunswick green. It's a dark tint of green over the black. It was like amazing, but everybody swore that they were correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Well, that chop nose D&H Bicentennial, man, Ken, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
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 Lee has a lot of great product lined up. I tell you, I'm excited for where Bowser is going and the amount of products and what we're going to be pushing to sell. I think it's going to be really great next couple of years, Lee. And even Robert said he intends on buying a boatload of those babies, low nose RS3s. So,
it's a real classic.
yep. And Cameron wants to say you're doing well, Lee. And Joe Batone, you're doing a great job, Lee. So you're getting a lot of great feedback. And I did see one question on the U-boats. Any update on production on those? Or
Yes, they are. U-boats are fourth in line. The problem I had, the U-boats were designed in the 80s. We've upgraded the bodies some, but the U-boats didn't have any 3D drawings. And the new factory requires that every locomotive has a 3D drawing, complete with every part that they're going to put on the model in 3D. So we had to do a lot of backtracking and do a lot of drawing. And even though I'm fairly good at it, I also have to do a lot of other things here. Got my blue bibs on. Been wearing these I started wearing these in 1977. And I never know if I might have to. Well, today I had to go out. My molding shop supervisor's on vacation. So I had to go out and actually get some dirt on my arms and grease on my hands. And the air, just the things that they have to do in a little factory. Had to play with the air compressor, which the new one's not coming until Friday. So I'm nursing that along. And I kind of like not having to worry about what I wear because I don't. I'm really, really terrible at dressing color-wise. Walked down the street steps one day, and my wife and my daughter looked at me and said, "Are you going to wear that?"
we think we need your graphic designers to pick out your outfits.
I have a blue shirt and blue bibs. And that's it. That's the only thing I wear to work. My dad wore green khaki. That's how we got green as a Bowser color, because he liked green.
I didn't know that.
That's a funny story.
That's the only reason. So we've kept green. We're the only green box.
Wow. And you mentioned you have a daughter. Is she interested in the business or no?
My son and my daughter have no interest.
Oh, wow.
They both worked here when they were in college. When we were die casting, and we would die cast in the summer, so it's 90 degrees out, and they would run the die casting machine, and you have long sleeves, you had leather gloves, you had glasses, shoes, no shorts, and you have the machine was a 150-ton injection zinc machine.
Wow.
So you had a pot of 800 degree zinc on one side, and you're pulling out 400 degree parts with tongs, putting them on the table. And the molding supervisor put a big thermometer right behind him, and it was 110 degrees.
Wow.
So my daughter in college, and always when they would talk about bad summer jobs, he said I can always beat them.
That's amazing.
Now, she's a college professor, and my son is in the beer business.
Oh, so cool. Very good.
They just have no interest, and you can't force somebody in it, Ken.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
tried something else. You're back to it.
Yeah, and you never know. Your son may come back in due time, but what
Well,
what you and your father have accomplished is amazing, and it truly is amazing that it seems like Bowser is even bigger and stronger than ever before, and the amount of new products and new designs and paint schemes, the amount of products is just unbelievable. And I really think with all that you have lined up for the industry, you're really hitting your strides.
well,
It's amazing.
it's a little bit of a jointure with the right guy in China. Now he's known in the industry for working with Rapido. I
Okay,
mean, he's not new, not different, but he's one of the best communicators I've ever worked with.
that's great.
Very interesting. I've been to the factory. Of course, you can't go to China now,
Right.
um, but I'm very happy with them. And I also have, I have to thank ESU for getting me started in after AFA, the builder for Atlas and Intermountain and everybody closed. ESU helped me move my molds to a new shop
Wow.
and actually found me a car company that found out that they were already contracting with AFA to make my cars.
Wow.
And so I've got to thank them a lot. I also believe in their decoder.
Yeah.
I have, I think they do very well. They also rent my second floor now. So I have a close relationship, which pays off in just knowledge and just little technical help or something. The guy who's been doing the drawing on the hammerheads is actually the brother of Matt Herman
Oh
of
wow.
ESU.
That's
He's a
great.
D&H fanatic. That's why he did the D&H chop nose with the understanding that he would do some other ones for me if I made the D&H chop nose.
Wow. Wow.
But well, there's a limited amount of time since I'm 70 years old, and my key people retiring are going to be impossible to replace.
Well,
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm going to. It's going to be time to close the doors in 5 years.
well, you still got a lot of good product we got to squeeze out of you. So keep on
Well,
going.
I just think you ought to take over Bowser, Ken.
Yeah. You never know. Me and Tony are gonna team up. That's it.
There you go. Tony needs something else to do.
I do need something else to do. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But Lee, it's like you're really a brain trust and a encyclopedia just for the whole industry and the ins and outs. It's truly remarkable what you've created, and we're just truly looking forward to just keep on pushing your products and moving whatever we can for you.
Well, you've certainly done pretty well. I look at your website. I look at your promotions when you come around with the show, and you take videos of everybody and talk to them. I think that's the way of the industry through this venue, this type of venue, and videos, and not everybody's able to travel to the few train shows that are happening.
Right.
So I'm not even going to all of them anymore. I traveled for a while, and it's not that much fun. I have enough damage in my body; it makes it hard to sleep in strange places.
Well, you paid your dues, Lee. You paid your dues, and you and your company have definitely worked hard, long for many years. So you've done a great service for the whole industry. So
Ken, do you have any RS3s left?
We're the DCC ready. I still have a couple left. DCC and Sounds only select road names. They're just selling out very quickly. So if you want them, definitely grab them now because they're going very quickly. So
Okay.
Yeah, yep. But all of your products are great. You could get all your Bowser products at TrainWorld.com. If you shop by brand, you could click on Bowser products, and we have close to like 700 products listed. And so a great selection of, and they even make N scale too. The N scale cabooses. So Lee has a great product lineup. And don't forget to check it out as well. Model Railroad News, this month's edition, and you can see the exclusive Bowser RS3 with the beautiful Long Island fantasy paint scheme. Model Railroad News always does a great job with all the every day in the industry, what's in and out. And every time I speak to Tony, I say, why is your book getting so much thicker? But he claims it's staying the same, but I don't believe him one bit.
Just for your own knowledge, I also manufacture Z-Scale.
Oh, get out of here. Okay.
Right, yeah.
I do it for a place called Full Throttle in Florida. I designed the trucks and couplers and the cars, and we mold them and paint them and decorate them here.
That's unbelievable.
That's why I do club cars, or I'll do special run cars for you or dealers, or mostly we do club cars, fundraiser for clubs at shows.
And it's funny, someone, one of our coworkers, Anthony, he actually said, ask Lee if he could make that O-scale engine that they used to make. And you used to make O-scale too.
I used to make O-scale trolleys, turntables, and road railers.
Unbelievable. Did you ever touch G-scale, or was it never G-scale?
Just a little bit of Cal scale detail parts.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Interesting.
No, I don't want to do G scale. That's too, even O scale, the manufacturing space doesn't just grow by a factor of 4.
Right.
It just is immense to handle. When we were doing O scale 53-foot trailers, it just took every bit of space you could handle.
Wow.
You know, you only get about 12, 13 trailers into a work tray, and then you're stacking them all over the place.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Now, I'm concentrating on HO. We do the N scale. We have some nice cars I bought from Delaware Valley Car Company long ago. And, of course, we made a couple of our classic Pennsylvania cars. I have a new car all drawn. I'm sitting back because I have so many HO loco projects going. I have to sacrifice something to squeeze in an N scale car.
Wow.
I don't think I should sacrifice anything for, let's get all the engines we talked about and a couple that are on the drawing board that people have been asking me about for a long time. So it's a limited amount of time. It's not like you go to a factory and they just have all this excess labor sitting around.
I think, Tony, you may have to do a Bowser special on HO Collector with all the different lines, and all the Bowser product throughout time.
I've already been asked. We did Hobby Line a couple months ago as a cover for HO Collector, and that new Pinline book, the Pinline history book, is due about any time. And I've already had people saying, hey, since you're doing this, have you thought about? And it's like, yep, indeed, it does need to be documented. So it's on my list. But it's like how Lee says with train projects.
Wow.
I've got a long list of a lot of things. Yeah, but yeah, it's on the list. Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Yep.
Well, that was an amazing, action-packed episode, Lee. Tony, always a pleasure. I thank you guys both for being on tonight. We really appreciate it. And you could get all of Lee English's Bowser products at TrainWorld.com. Shop online 24/7. Lee has tons of announcements, lots of items in the pipeline. So make sure you check them out. Bowser has tons of products, and Tony always does some great reviews and Model Railroad News for their product as well. And hopefully we get to see some of that classic Bowser and HO Collector magazine. But I thank you, everyone, so much for joining tonight. Have a great night. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.